A few weeks ago, Google released the Firebase Studio, which is a full stack AI development workspace. What's great is that you can vibe code your way into any application, you can integrate it with their Gemini language model, and you can deploy it onto their Firebase platform. And it is in direct competition with tools like Lovable, Bolt, and Cursor. But what makes Firebase completely unique at this point in time is that it's completely free. A few days ago, I launched a video and showed you how you can integrate any SaaS or application that's built inside of Firebase, and you can integrate it into end-to-end. But what I'm going to show you in this video is 9 incredible features that you need to be using inside of Firebase to kind of take your applications and your automations to the next level. I'm inside of Firebase Studio, and to save time, I went ahead and put in a prompt to create a box breathing app. And if you're not familiar with box breathing, it's a very simple technique to help you overcome stress and anxiety. And the way it works is that you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold your breath for 4 seconds, you breathe out for 4 seconds, and you hold for 4 seconds. And then you just continue that cycle for a few minutes until you feel better. And it's a really effective technique. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create an app inside of Firebase that can build a box breathing app with visual cues, and it can help you do it and obviously count the 4-second intervals in between. So I put in the prompt in here to give it some guidance. I've given it some stop buttons, given it some display elements like inhale, hold, exhale, hold to give you like a visual cue. Also play a gentle ping at the start of each 4-second phase. And then basically I ran it and host it on Firebase hosting, which is obviously integrated into this application. And so the first feature that I want to show you is the app blueprint. Okay, and so you can see that it's created a breath sync, which is actually a pretty cool name, and it's giving you features. So it's actually giving you like a blueprint before it's gone ahead and created this app. You can actually see the blueprint and to make sure that you're happy with it, right? Which is a little bit different than how, say, Lovable, Bolt, or Cursor does it, because in those platforms you have to kind of do it in situ, right? So it's kind of building it as you're typing out the prompt. Whereas this, you can send the prompt, it gives you a blueprint before you go ahead and deploy it, right? So you can see here that it's got the features, the indicator, the cues, it's got the sounds. I've added some ocean wave sound using an API or whatever free service that it can find. Session controls, audio transitions, responsive layout. It's even the color scheme, the layout, the font, the typography, and the animation. And what's great about this is if you're happy with this, you can actually just go ahead and prototype this app. If you're not, then you can go into customize and you can change this. The entire build is under your control. So you can change some of the layout if you're not happy with the colors. You can change the hex here. You can change the font if you're not happy with this. I'm just going to leave it as it is because I just want to show you what's possible with something like this. So I'm going to go ahead and prototype this app. It'll take a few minutes because it's got to build out all the UI, the dependencies, all the libraries, all the backend stuff that you would expect to see on like a web-based application. The app has been built, so we can test it. And looking at it in the kind of first instance, like a first draft, it's not bad, right? I mean, you could definitely do better, typography, better backgrounds. If you've got design styles or ideas that you've seen on other apps and SaaS tools, you can take a screenshot of it and you can upload it inside of Firebase to give it ideas and to give it like a context. But for a first iteration, it's not bad at all. So let me just click on start to see if it works. And so yeah, that's pretty cool. It's quite interactive as well. I like that. Maybe what I would do is if I was going to build this as a production application is I'd have a timer as well. There is an error here, so let me click on this. And this is probably a sound. So that hasn't worked. But aside from that, I mean, I could probably find it. I could probably find a free API library with sounds, or plug in a sound, like a sound wave file into this if I really wanted to kind of go all in into this. But I mean, you can see that in the first instance it's not bad at all, right? Which then leads me on to the second resource, which is the select editor. So if you click on this button here, this will then open up another editor, and what you can do is you can actually make changes inside the application. So for example, if you're not happy with this bubble, or you wanted to make changes to say, let's say, in fact, let me just stop this, and I'm going to click this, and I could say something like include the 4-second intervals in the box here, say for example, right? You can put that as a change, right? So now you can see on the right hand side, it's actually implementing the change inside of it. Now, it's not always going to work out in the kind of first instance. You are sometimes going to have to go through multiple iterations, but that's true with any of these no code, vibe coding applications. So that's definitely one that you can go ahead with and kind of build in situ, which I haven't seen Bolt, Lovable, or Cursor do yet. So you can see it's implemented the last of the changes, which was to include a 4-second intervals box. And if you're not happy with it, you can then proceed with the next feature, which is rollback. So you can then click on restore here and actually restore, and you can see here that it's restored back to the previous version. The next feature is Annotate, which is this squiggly looking icon here. So if you click on this, you can basically annotate your applications. And what that means is it's like a version of Excalibur. So I've used Excalibur in previous videos to kind of show you my ideas or bring up the video's agenda before I get into it. And what you can do is you can actually give it some context inside of the application itself. So what you can do is you can add either details. So let's say you wanted to put a bar at the bottom here. You could put a bar under here. And let's say you wanted to put something below the fold here, or you wanted to change something about this button here. You can actually annotate it, and you can add some text on here saying, make this orange, for example. I'll change the text so you can see it. So make this orange. And basically when you're done with that, you can send the drawing off as a prompt, right? So let's just do this now. So now what we've done is basically it's almost like taking a screenshot of the app, make some changes on there, annotating it, and then sending it off inside of Firebase. But this is all integrated. I don't need any external applications. I can just do it all inside of this one platform here. The next feature is the phone preview. So if you click on this kind of link icon here, it will then bring up a QR code. And when you scan this code, it will actually bring up a window where you can actually test it on your phone. And so it will give you compatibility. It'll give you basically an optimized version inside of your device. Feature 6 is the code editor. So you click on this button here. It'll actually bring up the code editor, which is very familiar to anybody who's used Cursor or Bolt or even Lovable. And you can see you've got basically all the files here. And what you can do is you can just wait for it to load, wait for the window to come up, and basically you can prompt it with Gemini. So you can still make changes to it if you're not happy with it. And so like the prompts here suggest, you can use Gemini to basically update anything inside of the file structures. So for example, I could say update the README to include more details about Firebase, and we'll go ahead and do that. So basically we'll update this README file inside of the file structure here. And so you can review the changes. It's using Gemini as I mentioned, and yeah, it's a really cool way to do it. Another cool feature is that you can actually edit the text from inside of the page TSX file, and you can edit any of the code using just Gemini prompts. And you can do that here with the Gemini prompt, as you can see here. And this is feature 7, which is what I like to call cursor style changes. You can edit it in line. Feature number 8 is the terminal. So you can actually go over here to the menu, click on terminal, bring up a new terminal, and you can actually run applications, you can run packages inside of this entire Firebase kind of window here. Okay, so I'm going to show you one which is run npm axios, if I spell it right. So what this will do is it'll run it in real time if it works. Okay, here you see it's basically running it now. And so you can actually run packages, you can basically deploy JSON, package logs, anything like that inside of this terminal here. And the last feature is you can actually use custom Gemini models. So where it says here, built in Gemini model, you can actually click on this and you can build or change any of these language models, and you can use the most latest version, which I believe is 2.5 Flash. And that's all built in inside because it's completely integrated with their entire AI tech stack. And if you like this video, consider signing up to the school community. We've got a budgeting group of entrepreneurs, people who are interested in AI. We've got business owners like myself who run AI agencies, and we can help you with pretty much anything that you have on your mind. So if you're not familiar with AI, you want to get your kind of toes wet, you want to build some kind of AI side hustle, but you're not sure where to start, this is definitely the community that's going to help you. And what's great is that we have a classroom here, so there's a lot of quality education in here that's going to help you. One of my favorites is launch your AI agency in 16 days. So it took me 30 days to go from $0 to $1,000, which was my first client, and that job took me about 3.5 hours. I'm going to show you how to do that in 16 days because I'll give you all the shortcuts. And the second thing is I've got a ton of AI blueprints here. So not only does this have the tutorial, it's got all the associated files and resources. It's got some of the code. So this one has SQL code inside a Firebase. I've given you that. And also the blueprints. You're going to upload this inside of Annotate and literally just follow the instructions. So thanks very much for watching this video. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel and I'll see you next time. Take care.